Do that again.
Yep. Where do you usually get cuts of steak? I like Jack's Market up the street. You ever been up there?
Jack's?
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I've never gotten meat from there. We actually have my go-to grocery store around here would be Aldi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like Aldi
I love
too.
Aldi. And then I would say
Bravo's good for meat too.
we also have a Costco membership, so I've gotten some good stuff from there.
Okay.
But we have a farm that if we're looking for certain things, we'll try to get through them too. It's
Okay.
There's like a meat and produce co-op that I have to drive 30 minutes to get to, but
30 whole minutes.
Bravo's,
Is that Aldi open, by the way?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
One next
And
door.
it's-
It's fantastic. It's bigger than the other one.
It's bigger
overall.
and it looks fancy. It feels very ritzy in comparison to the other one. So-
Okay.
Only except for I went there a couple days ago.
And the lights were out.
No, and there was only two.
Ours said that when I went
There was
there.
like 500 people in the store and two
Oh.
lines open. Like it was like,
gosh.
it was
Yep.
ridiculous. I'm like, no.
Welcome to Aldi.
Yeah.
That's-
And that was the day that I tried to go sick, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
of course.
I'm just gonna go in and get a couple things.
Maximize how
Aldi.
much germ spread.
the only store where I've seen them go to self-checkouts and then get rid of all of them and go back to regular lanes.
This is not
No,
working.
They seriously did.
No, I know.
And
The
because
one on-
I
yeah.
asked one of the girls because as soon as like they went fully self checkout,
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately tore every machine out and went back to cashiers, and they were like,
Bad
"Yeah,
idea.
well, we were getting stolen from." I'm like, "Do you think
hmm.
you trusted people?"
You go to
do
the
this?
cheaper store and steal from the cheaper store.
Yeah,
Even
that's stupid.
Walmart's pulling back from that a lot now. In
Okay.
fact, there's some that are talking about eradicating them altogether, but
Nice.
people like it so much that they're going to have a few. But there was a part where Walmart was getting way out of hand with their self-checkout, and they've pulled back a lot.
I think that their new checkout system is nice.
The
I
Walmart
like
one's
the
better now.
the way the Walmart does it now. Do you guys like semi-spicy chip dip?
Sure.
All right, Mexicali dip at Aldi.
Okay.
Fire. It's like $3.
I think I've had it.
And you have to dig through the street corn, because they come in like together.
Oh, okay.
So you have to dig through to find them because it's popular. It's really frustrating because it's out of stock a lot, but
There's
totally got to get it. It's amazing.
Mexicali.
Mexicali dip. It is awesome. And the off-brand Doritos at Aldi are garbage by themselves, but they pair really well with the Mexicali dip. So I'm just saying, for $1 or $2, it's like a great thing.
I just
Anyways,
it's like, oh, this is trash. Let me try it with something.
So to start
I see
today,
your purpose.
like talking about garbage, you
Yeah.
know, sometimes we totally feel like garbage because we feel like everyone around us is smarter,
Of course.
better, at doing things, have better skills, whether that's leadership skills, Bible knowledge, whatever that might be. And it leaves us feeling less than and feeling incompetent at times. I know this is a topic that I feel on a regular basis as well. So I know, Dave, you brought it to me, and I think it's a great thing to talk about today. But I think that there's got to be some of you out there that feel this way too. Whether you're a new Christian, not a Christian, been a Christian a long time, whatever that may be.
There may
I'm
be some
sure,
that tried Christianity, felt this way, and then got out.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, it's
for
all
sure.
aspects of life. I mean, I think there's a lot of different forms of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this.
Right.
And, it's where I don't feel qualified for this.
Right. The qualified thing.
How
oh,
am
man.
That's something that I dealt with a lot going into ministry was like, what?
Well, even just looking for jobs nowadays,
Yeah.
it's like if I want to get a job, I've got to figure out what all of these job titles mean. When this long title just means secretary,
Right.
and it's like all these big titles. It's
Senior
like
office coordinator.
I do not
you're a secretary.
feel qualified at
Yeah.
all. So,
It's intimidating.
yeah. So what's going on, everybody?
Hey.
I know it
Yeah.
kicked off funky,
This
but
is, I think I'm
a
going to
little
start.
This is the truth response.
fresh.
Aldi.
Aldi talk.
I'm going to talk about Aldi first. That's what
Sounds good.
So I'm Derek.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
Dave.
Hey.
And yeah, today
Ever
we're
seen
gonna
the Penguins movie. Yay! Hey. Sorry. I like to derail things.
my daughter watched this show when she was a kid, and I can't remember the name of it right now. Oh, Rough Tweet and Dave. That was what it was called, right? And at the end of every episode, it was, which one do you think's going to fall asleep first? And the answer is Dave. It's always Dave. And so anytime I think of Dave, I think of it's always Dave. But,
That's great.
Oh, well, I guess,
So-
see, that I think about Independence Day.
yeah.
Good
yeah.
morning, Dave.
Yep, that one. And
That's
then
a
what
good
was
one.
the one? Abominable was a cartoon about the Yeti, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was there was one guy just named Dave, and so at one point, dude, you darted Dave. It's like, so Dave just kept coming up.
Wasn't there Crazy Dave in Plants vs. Zombies, the game?
That could be. I don't think I played it, but
I had a player one time playing D&D who played his character's
completely
name
off subject.
was Dave, or no, his name was Buster, and his hammer's name was Dave.
that's awesome.
So
So
it was great.
That's not even what we're talking about today.
So yeah, no, well, kinda. It relates this way, right? It relates, and none
ever
of
wanna
us can
feel-
live
you ever
up.
feel like
none of us
Dave?
can live up to feeling like Dave, right? So
Well, have you ever felt you never feel more less than when you play D&D with somebody who's been playing for 10
yeah.
years? Like the way they look at you and it's like, sorry, I don't deserve to be here.
What is it?
I'm sorry, I'm judgy like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I had that feeling.
back to the story.
I had that
of
feeling
the day.
actually, but not with a game. I remember the first time, and my wife knows this because I was very open about it. But like the first time I met her extended family, I felt so out of place. So we had gone for a 4th of July party, and we're rolling up to this neighborhood with a gated community. Like they're all over the place here, but up north it was like those were special. And so I'm walking in this gated community, or driving into this, and I'm like, what is this? I'm looking at these giant houses. I'm like, where are we? And the only thing I knew about this is going into it is like they had a pool, and I thought, well, okay, that's pretty good. They're doing pretty well for themselves. They got a pool, right? I did not come up with like an abundance of money. So like this stuff to me was like, I mean, that would have been enough. But I roll up to this house, and the house is huge. And as I'm coming around the house, I see this pool, and I'm like, man, the pool is huge. And then I'm like, do they have their own tennis court? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to be here.
Right?
Like, what is going on?
Do you want me to wait in the car?
I felt, and they were so lovely. I love her extended family. They're very nice and welcoming. And but there was a moment where I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Like, I'm not. This doesn't feel like my environment.
Well, even up in Minnesota, my wife has always she's always worked in the white collar community, so she worked for several staffing agencies, right? And so I would get invited to these parties because I'm the plus one. And at the time, I was a painter and a cabinet finisher. That was my trade, right? So blue collar. And so I can't tell you how unbelievably out of place I felt. They're all talking about white collar stuff. And what do you do, Dave? I paint houses. And they're cool. So anyway, just like it was always like, I'll just go sit over there by myself.
Yeah, it's totally okay.
I think that's very important. One of the things that we need to talk about on this show on today, I think is how we present ourselves can make all of the difference to how we feel about ourselves. Because had you said, well, actually, I got this really awesome job where I get to, transform these old cabinets or these new cabinets into, the perfect fit for someone's home. Like completely different spin, completely different feeling about yourself. And I feel like that is one of the root causes for us feeling inadequate as people. So with that, welcome to the Truth Response. Pray today?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pray.
All right.
Father, thank you for today, for everyone who is healthy, And we pray also for all those who are dealing with the sicknesses. We know there's a flu going around and a bunch of other things, and we ask you to put your healing hands into all of those situations and help us to just all recover as one. We want to be able to lean forward into this new year and just represent you well, and we will need to do so healthy. So Lord, help us with all of that. Today, lead us in this conversation in a way that will help others and even help each other as we get through this topic. And we do all things and pray on all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
If you are just tuning in because you skipped all the intro stuff, totally understand. However, today we are talking about those of you and us who feel like we are either less than, don't know enough, not good enough, et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, et cetera.
In math terms, less than, greater than, or equal to? Isn't that what
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
We're not talking about the greater than, though. Not today. That's a different podcast.
Oh.
Equal to, we don't really need to talk about what we can someday, but...
Because only God is greater than.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Hey!
Now
There it is.
we're chugging.
Ooh, that's another T-shirt, right? Just the symbol, which is God, and just greater than. See? I like it. Anyway.
I wanted to do a T-shirt that said "No Mac," as in no macroevolution, but too many people told me it wouldn't work, and by the time that I had passed on it,
Did he show you? I designed a shirt for a couple episodes ago. It just said purple.
Oh my gosh! There's a call.
I did not show him. I did not show him.
No,
I should've.
Episode 236.
And
That's all it said. It was just the word purple, and it said episode 236.
Okay. So, anyways,
Moving on.
yeah, not feeling adequate about that one.
Yeah. But no, I've through my entire life, I had a really good upbringing. I had, mom and dad and everything. Grew up in the church. When I was 18, my mom said, "Well, now you're 18, you can choose whether or not to go." So I said, "Sweet, I don't want to go." I didn't do anything crazy, but for 6 years, I just stopped going. Right?
Was it one of those things like I can sleep in on Sundays?
That's it.
Yep,
that's all it was. And then when I met my wife, her dad was a pastor, his dad was a pastor, his dad was a pastor, same on the mother's side. So they were as ingrained in church as you could possibly get. So my go-to joke is that she was so beautiful, I followed her back into church. I was like, if I have to go to church to get her, then that's what I'm going to do. That's fine. But
Pretty girl evangelism.
of course, sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't.
Actually, we have a pretty high success rate around here.
So with that, I've also had it feels weird to say an overdeveloped sense of humility because it makes me sound like I'm bragging. But I'm always of the opinion that whoever is in the room with me has something I can learn, which is great because that means I'm always learning something.
Yeah.
But to the point where, to the detriment to myself, is that I never feel like I'm the person who can bring something to somebody else. I'm only just learning. So we had 2 weeks ago at our young adult, we had a leadership class, and in there they kind of prayed over everybody. And so when they prayed over me, the pastor put his hand on my shoulder and he said, God's telling you to stop giving away what he gave to you, right? Because I tend to, one of the things I used to do, because I'm not as comfortable praying for people as other people are, so I tend to get into these group situations where everyone's needing prayer, and I'll see someone and I'll go, oh, my buddy Zach would be great to pray for this. Zach, come here, pray for that person. So I'll direct traffic. And then there was one day where there was no one there was someone who needed prayer and there was nobody available. And I went, crap, now I have to do it, right? So,
Oh, man.
but the other part of it too is that, so Jeremy, we were talking about at Elevate Networks, he and I just happened to be sitting alone for a few minutes, and he goes, Dave, I need you to do something. I said, okay. So it was literally, this happened on Wednesday at church, and then Thursday, the next day, I'm sitting with Jeremy, and he goes, I need you to stop acting like you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, okay. And he goes, you have got to lean into what you have because we need you to. And I was like, what do I have? It's like, I genuinely don't know what I have to give back to somebody. So, so it tends to, people get most frustrated with me because I don't step out and do what they believe I can do because I don't know what I can do, if that makes sense.
Oh, I can understand that wholeheartedly. There was plenty of times, even when I got down here, where I'm like, man, and there's a large part of me that was like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, it's fine. But there is a moment where you just feel like, oh my gosh, am I even that person? Mm-hmm. Did they, they invest all this money, they took this big risk on getting this guy from Maryland to move down to Southwest Florida and take up a position, and am I going to do the job that they need me to do? Is God going to be with me in this? Am I really the right guy? And it's just it leads you to moments of crisis in yourself, and where but the thing is that I realize, that's what our enemy wants to do. He wants to take us away from who we are called into being, because if he can stop us from stepping into that light and stepping into that moment, then maybe it won't happen, or maybe we'll fall away from it or back away from it, or when you get pretty complacent with just passing the buck, so to speak, on it. But God, I love how God spoke through that guy. It's like, no, you don't understand. I need you. That's why you're here.
Yep.
I didn't send Jerry or Steve. I sent you, and so that means you step into. And what's interesting is that over the years, I just learned to just walk into it. Like if I honestly felt that was the direction God was leading me, I just walk into it.
Yep.
And then on the other hand of it is that so for instance, we'll have Sundays here where we do more of a prayer Sunday. And I remember the first prayer Sunday here that I was a part of, and I'm over in this corner, and people are coming up to me, and we're praying together, and some of it was so beautiful, and so, I mean, it's all beautiful, but what I mean is some of it was so raw and so real, and and you could feel God was just all over everyone, and I was just like, wow. As the line cleared away, I remember thinking, how do I get to do this? Like, how me? Like, this is wild. To think that this is what I get to do now.
Yep. So here's the little challenge, like you're talking about. Let's stir some pots or whatever. So I heard somebody say this. Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't hear somebody say it. I thought it. I'm going to take it. See, this is me. I'm taking ownership.
There you go. Take it now. Take that ownership.
We were at there was an event happening over at Victory, and somebody got up and said, "It's like, guys, I feel God is here," and I went, yeah. It's like, he's always here. Like, why is this new, right? And then the guy got up. I said that, and he goes something to the tune of, if you don't feel like God is here, then you didn't bring him with you. It's like, God is everywhere. He's in you. So if you walk in and say, I don't feel like God is here, that's not us. That's you. Like,
right.
What's your opinion on that?
Well,
I don't think that if you have God, you can't bring him with you. I don't think that's possible. In fact, that might even be to the tune of re-crucifying him. Wow. That's the only way that you can pin him anywhere is to re-crucify him.
I think that interesting. I think that sometimes we just harden ourselves to the fact that he's there. Like, we get so self-centered that we, like, he's right there. He's been there.
Right.
And our perspective gets way off. How many people are like, I have to go to church, and what they really mean is I need to go to this building where these people are at. I'm like, that's great. That's not the church.
Right.
Okay, the church is not that building. That's not the only place God hangs out. Like, he is everywhere. And so it's the perspective you see on why people go into a church building and they're one way, and then they go into a parking lot and they start cutting each other off and flipping each other off.
One of my favorite things to hear is, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that in church. And my response is always, why not?
Right?
Why? Oh. Why not? I don't care if you cuss in church. Do it. Whatever. Because here's the thing. I want you to be you. Because God knows you, right? Like, so if he's telling you shouldn't do it, that's a different thing, right? You just calm down, right?
That's the one.
The whole, like, if you feel like you have to say, oh, I shouldn't do that at church, you don't understand church.
Well, that's true, but I'm with you on that. I know where your head's at on it, but when somebody says that to me, it's like, why don't you listen to your own conviction then? Because it's not about that. You're right. It's not about that you're doing it in church. It's that you're doing it. It was amazing to me when I was like first really talking about the fact that I was going into ministry, and even when I went into ministry and people first started finding out about it, and they would say things to me like, oh, I don't know if I can talk around you anymore. I feel like I cuss around you all the time. They suddenly become very aware of themselves, and I'm like, the conviction isn't because of me.
Well, I don't know that that's true. I think that can be true, absolutely. And maybe 3/4 of the time it is, right? That's just a random thrown out number, but
80% of things are made up, so
it's 93, 93%.
93? 93% of all statistics. All right.
So But I think that a lot of times people do it out of respect.
Sure.
It's a respectful thing.
Okay.
Like they respect you and your beliefs, like they would expect you to
Yes,
you
but
know.
I think there's something about that respect for what I'm doing also reflects who I'm doing it for. And I think ignorance is bliss for so many people, where it's like when they're not having those reminders around them, they can live how they want. It's almost like a subconscious thing. I don't have to be reminded of it, so I can just live how I want. And the second they're faced with that truth, with that where I'm shining that light on them, they're seeing it, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's what that is. Then they suddenly get uncomfortable. And it's like, well, listen to me. Why are you uncomfortable? Maybe you should think about that.
Sure, but
We should
here's
spend some time
the reality.
unpacking.
But here's the reality, bro. Like, has the church really done that good of a job of showing what Jesus actually wants from us? No. We have not done a very good job of that at all. So they have a false expectation of what we expect of them.
Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, the whole point that I was making is that, like, look, this is something you need to start exploring.
I think
If
it can
you
be, yeah.
If you can suddenly be aware of your insignificancies, you need to be able to go, okay, maybe I need to start seeing if there's something else wrong with me that I need to fix. If someone can stand in front of you and then as soon as you find out that they're a pastor and you get really uncomfortable because you realize how imperfect you are suddenly, you got work to do.
I think
And why
there's different
aren't we willing
levels.
to go there?
Sure,
Yeah.
there's different levels. But at the same time, like, I don't take my hat off when I go into a courtroom because I feel like I need to have my hat off in the courtroom. It's the expectation.
It's the etiquette.
Right. It's the etiquette. It's not because I have any conviction at all whatsoever. I think I should be able to wear my hat wherever I want to wear my hat.
Sure.
Like, I truly believe that I should be allowed to do that. Now, I do it out of respect for others, but there's no conviction in there at all whatsoever, except for the respect for others.
Right.
So, and I think that some things, I think you're absolutely right. I think some things hit them deep. I think that a lot of times people only do it because of respect for others. Because if you're saying, oh, sorry, I shouldn't cuss at church, right? You don't understand the whole concept at all. Like, you don't understand what's going on, and that's okay. I'm not expecting anybody to understand it all, right? But there's an educational level that we got to have to that, and it's like, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay to be you at church.
Because to your point,
It's okay.
Right. So to your point, there was my wife and I were building a house. They told us it'd take 9 months. It took 3 years, 8 months, and 4 days. So we went to stay with my mother-in-law because she had 4 extra bedrooms for a brief period of time, which was a year and a half. And my mother-in-law was born and raised in Tennessee. She was married very young. She's very, very spiritual. And so my sense of humor, like Deadpool was written for me, right? That's just how I roll. I kind of joke around a lot in that sense. I'm never going to be that way around her because that's going to go against how she feels and what makes her comfortable. So when I'm in her space, then I'm putting some filters on because out of respect to her. So to your point, out of respect to her, I'm not going to be the way that I typically am. I don't have a conviction that says that what I do is wrong, but I'm going to, out of respect to you, behave a little differently. Now, when you've got, like, for instance, my brother-in-law at one point was the youth pastor, kind of a dipstick at some point. We had a lot of late night talks where I was pouring some stuff into him. Then he eventually elevated to the point where he was the associate pastor and eventually the pastor, and the relationship definitely changed. All of a sudden there was this, oh, we can't be dopes anymore, now we got to be pastors. It's like, so there was a tension there because I was still kind of a dork. It was like, and he now was a pastor, so he felt that he had to be at this level and obviously above reproach and everything. So
you have to stop being a dork if you become a pastor?
That's what I was told. I don't believe so.
I mean, look, I get it that there's these pedestals that get put out there and a lot of stigmas, but it's just I'm more concerned about is that if suddenly you feel something inside of you, just don't run away from it then. Like, let's embrace it. Let's
at least have a conversation, right?
Yes.
Is that really the root? And that's something I want to get to with the you were talking about the humility, the word humility, having too much humility, and my toss back to y'all is, could that idea of too much humility really be pride?
I think, I think you're right. I think it can be. Well, because the
He's
thing
never
is,
said it. Write this down. This is what is today. Today is the 7th of January 7th of 2026.
He said, "You're right."
it's to Derek Stevenson. It's happened. But listen, no, I think there is. I think there is such a thing as it's not. I wouldn't call it too much humility. It's become a prideful.
It's
act,
focusing on
where
yourself too much.
There's
Yeah.
being humble. That's just a natural humbleness.
Yeah.
And you're now doing it. It's beyond it.
Yeah.
And I think it is prideful. I think it's almost like the Pharisees. Like they're doing it to be seen. They're doing it to be known that they're humble. And you really like it when I'm nice and loud.
Dude.
But
I've got you turned down in here to the right point. You just need to talk into it.
well, I'm normally loud. My wife actually will be like, "Why are you always so loud in the house?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a preacher, so like I love to
Project.
project."
But if you're loud over here,
Yeah, I know.
then it doesn't. It's not
My
the same.
microphone doesn't always get me out there. So,
We always instinctually talk a little quieter as we get closer.
I don't.
Actually,
But I control the
what is
sound.
it?
Sorry. Okay.
Anyways,
anyway.
so back to
humility.
humility.
Yeah, I think that there's a point where you are almost like a Pharisee. You want to be seen doing it. You want people to understand that you are humble. And it's at that point, it's like, that's not humble. That is
Yeah.
pride. And so I think that, but I mean, I'm also the kind of person that's like, you should always be in check of what you're doing. If you find yourself getting too comfortable or getting comfortable with certain things, check them. Maybe it's not bad, but maybe it means that you're letting some things slide a little bit. Or if you find yourself tightening up around people, maybe it's time to start wondering why you have to be tightened only around certain people. Like maybe it's time to reevaluate what you call normal. And the thing is that as a pastor, and a lot of pastors have this problem where it's like, we realize that we now have the role, and whether we like it or not, people do try to put us on a pedestal, and they do look at us as a different kind of breed, as if we're not one of them, and we totally are. And so we have to be on all the time. You got to be on while you're at the church. You got to be on while you're at the grocery store. You got to be on. You got to be on. You got to be on. Our biggest place that we have to watch ourselves is at home, and that place that like nobody else is there, and now we're going to try to let our guard down, and that's when the enemy will attack. So we have to you got to be careful about where and how you let your guard down, what you accept when you think nobody is looking.
Yep, that's a everybody thing. I think that's for everybody. That's
Absolutely.
a really good word.
But I want to touch on, so when it comes to that though, with the humbleness. So back when I first fully came back to Christ, which was, I can't remember which year it is, but I remember about the time of my life it was, and I remember I was forcefully being what I thought God wanted me to be. Like I instantly made the change.
Was forcefully.
No, seriously, and it fits because so like I was like, all right, so I stopped listening to certain music. I listened to a lot of Christian music again, and I was watching what I said a lot, and I was going to the right places, and I was trying to do all the right things, and it was like I made a life switch, and the thing is I was doing it under my own control. You know what I mean? And it took a lot of effort because it wasn't natural. And when things didn't work, I remember asking God, why are things still, I'm trying to do everything that I would think you want me to do. And he's like, well, that's not how I made you. And I misunderstood at the time. But the whole point he was trying to make is that this is something that I work on with you. And the thing is that we sometimes put on a show and we're displaying something that sometimes is so false. Oh yes, I've gotten this far in my walk with Christ, and Christ is like, I'm back here. Like, you're not there. I don't know why you keep telling people you're there. You're back here with me, and look, we're great back here. Just keep coming with me, and we'll get there.
Yep,
we will totally get there.
We're not there yet.
But if you keep thinking you're there, it's just going to make it harder.
Yep.
And
so that's touching on. I think that is also touching on the greater than. Conversation.
Well,
there
greater than
to a little bit. I mean,
even greater than that, which we are, and maybe that leads to some things because, like, it's easy in a way, and not for everyone, but it's easy in a way to let people presume certain things about yourself, to where you just kind of live that, and it's not necessarily that you're lying. You're just not correcting.
Well, and I think seasons, man, seasons too. Like so. on that, I think that's dead on. I think that at times we've done all of these things in this season. This season has come to an end, and we don't want to let it go, and so we just continue doing the things. And I think that it leads to, I think that leads to it. For those of us who have been in ministry for a long time, like sometimes we don't want to let seasons go. We don't want to let the things go at the end of a season, and it leads us to continue doing the wrong thing.
Well, you need to be able to pivot, but I mean, it's something about just going back. Everyone needs to just kind of go back and see where they really are. And so when you've talked about today what it is to feel inadequate when you're called in situations, or well, it's okay to necessarily feel that way, but then needs to come but why am I getting called into that? And the answer, if it's God, then you have nothing to worry about. And could you mess up? Absolutely.
Sure. Read the
most
Bible.
people do. Look at Peter.
Read the Bible.
Peter.
Poor Peter.
Love Peter. He makes me feel better about so much that I do. But
even David. It's like,
David.
There isn't a character besides Jesus who doesn't make us feel like,
yep.
It's okay.
We're at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the whole statement that God doesn't qualify, or he doesn't call the qualified.
He qualifies the equipped, or he doesn't
Equips
equip.
it.
He doesn't call the equipped, he equips the qualified. Or he equips the called. Dude, you're messing me up.
Wow.
Okay, let's go back.
Got a new shirt. But I always heard it. He doesn't qualify. He doesn't call the qualified, but he qualifies the called.
Yes. And he doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. So, whatever.
Yeah,
That's the one I know. I've never heard it qualified, but yeah.
Either
that's
way,
good.
it works both ways.
Yeah.
And the thing is this.
It works both
if
ways.
God's calling you into it, just step into it. There's been plenty of times. Well, I remember the first time I preached here. Now, I didn't know it quite when I got hired, but I ended up finding out later that when Nick was praying for someone to take the student ministry position, he was also praying for someone who could come and preach too. And I that was me. But then here comes the day where it's like it's time to step up into this and do it. And there was a moment of just like pure panic of like, well, what if they don't like me?
Yeah.
What if my sermon style doesn't work here? Like, what then?
Yep.
And so, and it worked out just fine, and it has since I've been doing it. But there is moments where you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't?
Yep.
But you can't. If God's calling you into a situation, you got to have confidence that if he's calling you, he sees something sometimes that maybe you don't see, and that you don't need to see because he does. And we got to trust in him. He really is greater. He's greater in the way he thinks. He's the greater in the way he does math, his impossible, wonderful math. But he's greater in the way that he plans. And so sometimes if he's called you into that plan, you just got to trust his plan. It's better than your plan.
100%.
Yeah, well, and I'm in the midst of that right now. Like, God called me out of the job that I was in just over a year ago now. And I spent this whole last year, the first half of the year was great, right? Well, the first 3 months of the year was great. And then I had my first event and felt like a failure. And then from then on, it was just a struggle. And it was hoping that I'd get from one thing to the next. And felt like a failure and failure and failure and failure. And then shout out to Work in Progress, one of our listeners. They have been one of my biggest cheerleaders. They have been one of the biggest promoters of not only this podcast but of my business. And this
one's for you.
They were messaging me just yesterday, and we were talking about something I was working on for them, and I just told them like, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. And they're like, you're amazing. You've got this, and I'm gonna let me read to you the encouragement that I got from them, because it really has helped shift my thought in this.
You're almost far enough to not hear this well.
Almost. It's fine.
Almost.
It's like you cracked your neck, and I heard that on my headphones.
Yeah, it's on the show now.
So they sent me this. I'd love for you to see yourself the way we see you. the way God sees you. We see your God-given talent, the way that you steward your gift. Your quality of craftsmanship, I don't know why I can't say that word, shows that you care about the kind of work you produce. I see that both in your woodworking and in your music. I simply get excited when I get to see what you've created. To God be all the glory. You will definitely be in my prayers. So cool. And that was like, how often is that the case for us when we get into those places where it's like, I don't know the Bible enough. I don't, I can't do this. I'm not good enough at this. This person is so much better than me at this, How often do we need to step back and be like, how do other people actually see me? And not that we're comparing ourselves, but like, I feel like a lot of times when we get in that headspace, when I get in that headspace, I need somebody to come along that's like, yo,
stop.
You don't see you like we see you.
Yeah.
You're not looking at yourself the right way. The mirror that you're looking in is warped.
Yep.
Yeah. You are looking at it in this flawed mindset, but that's not the truth.
Yep. We actually had, when we took over as young adult directors, the first thing we did was to put a few young adults in place. Like, we don't know how to speak your language anymore. Help us to speak your language.
Right.
And my wife and I have both struggled with, I'm not the guy who like has this deep drive to go home and just study religion for 8 hours a night. It just,
right.
I'm like, I want to go home and play with my kids. So when we sat down with these young adults and said, look, we'll be honest, like, we don't know a lot of the stuff I was sitting with one of my leaders, and he said, yo, the festival of something, where they did the thing, and I kind of looked at him, and he goes, you don't know about the festival of something or other? I'm like, I really don't. And so it happened we had conversations like that, and we have three of the young adult leaders who are intellectually far beyond where I am, for sure 100%. But what I think is fascinating is one of them has come to us a couple of times, put her finger in my face one day and said, that's why it should be you, because you're learning a lot of this stuff for the first time, and it's so fresh and it's so new and it's so exciting. You can't help but want to share it with us, right?
Well, you see, that's where sometimes we lose it. Okay, I got to step in this mic because I know I heard I could get. So we sometimes we're too quick to let go of the conviction that we receive. And first off, I mean, obviously, if you start to feel convicted about something, especially from a Christian standpoint, let's check it with God, check it with the Bible. Everything checks out. Is a good conviction. But that's the thing, is that sometimes as we're called into some situations, or even for the convictions we have about the scriptures and such like that, we're so quick to abandon them sometimes if we get a little intimidated or a little scared. There's been times where I have some strong convictions about certain parts of scripture and such, and sometimes I will argue with other people a little bit, including this guy right here, but I do have some strong convictions. And the thing is that every once in a while, if I know that someone is very well educated, I hate saying this about myself, but like myself, I'm like, all right, cool, and I get a little excited about the speaking to them. But then when I hear their intelligence, there's moments where I've had over the years where I'm like, I almost want to feel like I want to back down and just kind of go with whatever they say, because I'm like, oh man, they definitely seem like they've done their research. And then there's this moment where I got to just be like, no, you've done yours. No, stick to what you know. And then I go for it. And it's weird to have that feeling of like, why am I letting go of what I know, what I feel? If I feel so strongly that this is it, I put the time in, I've put the prayer in, I've had the conversations about, and if this is what I keep coming to, then why am I willing to back down from it?
Sure.
Yeah.
And so if
Wes Huff said something to the tune of that, and that was, confidence doesn't equal correctness.
Amen. But you can make people believe just about anything if you're confident enough.
Right.
For sure.
Right. But, so that's to them, though, is like they listen just because somebody on here sounds confident, just because somebody that you're listening to on one of your reels sounds confident
Oh, gosh.
does not mean that we or they are correct.
I actually had this idea one time of getting up and doing a whole message, like a 15, 20-minute message, but getting it just a little bit wrong. You know, like talking about how when
that's
Samson
dangerous.
delivered
Yeah.
the people out of Egypt or whatever, and he was,
okay.
had to
Yeah.
deal with like all these different things.
Oh, my
And-
skin crawls.
Right? But like get to the end and say, by the way, how many of you just took everything I said as gospel? And then they see the hands go up like, okay, you're all wrong. Like I got
Right.
every beat of that wrong. Go home and research and tell me what I said wrong. It's
But
like,
I think that part of the importance of even that message, you could flip and say that even if you changed the who's and the whens, if you kept the importance of the what in the scripture, you can still give the lesson and not know all the names,
Sure.
not know the chapter verse, not know the word for word. If you understand the concept, you could still give the same message and it be correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've
which
had-
I think is important for especially some of our younger, less confident, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
listeners to know.
amazing thing to be able to do as a leader is to know when this isn't the time to make that correction.
Yeah.
So I've had some of my team when they're giving a lesson to.
I'm making all the corrections on here.
Anyway, I've had some of my team when they begin lessons to high school or middle school, and I've heard something like, "Oh, it's kind of like this," and then they throw out this thing, and does it work, and is it going to help make their point? Yes, but it's not correct. And I remember thinking, okay, I'd really love to just stop them and go, look, that you can't, don't, no. But but I realize if I say that, I'm going to completely ruin everything they got. They may never ever want to teach again. Like there's a moment where you got to go, is it absolutely necessary? If it is, then it's got to be a circumstance where like this is such a major deal that look, I can't have. There's probably something that I could think of if I really put some of my mind to it, but like it wasn't that big a deal. It was something I could go to them later and go, hey, by the way, that was this person and not that person.
Yeah.
Right.
Or hey, by the way, that letter wasn't written while he was in jail.
Yeah.
Stuff that's
Right.
not. You know what I mean? I've had those things happen where it was like, let it slide, let it go. They're on a roll. They're doing fine. And for the one time that one person was their first time teaching, and I was just like, yep, that wasn't how it was written, but you just keep going,
Right.
and then afterwards,
Even a simple but major mistake of mixing up Elisha and Elijah.
sure.
oh
right?
yeah.
Two massively different people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
radically. One didn't die, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
radically different people,
Radically
right? So like but that's as much as I hate it, that's just a semantic thing, right?
Well,
Like, that's not the point of the
he
story.
He
right?
loves that word.
I hate
semantics.
semantics.
If you're good,
Because people use it in a way that's not correct, right? And
Of course.
that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because semantics, yes, that's why I'm getting into the weeds of the words, is because it is the definition of the word.
Well,
Anyways.
it's hard. I'm one of those people that's really
But-
hard when I know something's off. It's hard for me to keep my composure sometimes. Like, and I've gotten way better at it. But my especially in my household, my kids, my poor daughter, I'll never forget. So her friend lives in Kentucky, and she was like, "Oh man, she's thousands of miles away." And I sat there, and she read my face. I was like, "Don't say anything, don't say anything." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Well, since you asked, it's hundreds, it's not thousands." And I was like, I will show you exactly how far it is, and it is not thousands. It's not even 1,000.
Right.
And like she's like, why do you got to do that? I'm like, you could have just left me alone. I was being quiet. Like,
my wife's go-to phrase is "quiet your face." It's like,
oh, yeah, my face she's
doesn't have a loud. It has a silent always.
my face has a silent mode, but I have to purposely do that so that it doesn't speak.
yep.
If I have to turn on blank face,
You only have that blank face.
no, I put it.
No,
that
that's
is
all. The
that
only
is-
face you have.
That is my work.
That
face.
is your go-to face.
But my face doesn't always
is my
match what I'm
face.
thinking or feeling or actually what I want to say. And
The
sometimes
real word is never.
sometimes
Never
it
does
betrays
that.
me too, especially
Yep.
in front of my kids, where they'll bring me something. I'm like,
No, it's
stop
it's-
face!
it's
Don't
great.
make that face. Yeah.
Yep. No, it happens a lot. Like, somebody be preaching and they'll say something, and in my head, I'm like, I disagree. I'm like, or that's dumb. Or something. My wife will just nudge and she goes, quiet your face. I'm like, what? It's like, it's so evident you disagree with what they say. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
We were at CIY Move this past year with the kids, high schoolers, and one of my team was behind me. And they had this demonstration with this rope, and they were like, this is the timeline. And they were like, they did a ribbon. This is about when God made creation. I'm like, okay. And then I'm watching, I'm like, this is going to be inaccurate. And and then they're like, this is when he'll come back. And I'm like, presumptuous, but okay.
Right.
And then it was like, this is when Christ was born. I'm looking at it, I'm like, that seems uneven already.
Right.
And then they were like, and this is when this happened. And as soon as they were like, I was like, nope. And I could hear my teammates just laughing like crazy because they were watching my reactions to everything that was happening.
They did the side-by-side social media, you watching them. That's great.
Oh, gosh.
I think the important part of it, to get back to the root of what we're talking about is that regardless of what situation is put in front of you, whether that is you're in a room where there's a bunch of smarter people than you, whether that is you're in a new room, where you don't know anybody in the room, whether you are in the midst of, as a Christian or a non-Christian, in the midst of pastors, or whatever that situation is that you've been placed in the middle of, especially if you're seeking God, right? I'll put that caveat on there. Especially if you're seeking God, just be there.
You know what? Actually, I love that, and I'm going to build on that just a little bit. So I'll give you an example. So when I felt God pushing me to go into seminary, right? And I was fighting him on it because I didn't want to. And but he was, seminary, and then I was like, I can't afford it. He's like, look at this. And he basically was like, you're going. And the thing is I went in there and I was so intimidated. I thought I was in there with people who, at the time I wasn't really doing full-time vocational ministry. And so, but everyone in my co-op, most of them were. And I felt just like, I don't even know if I'm on their level. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing here kind of thing? And let me tell you something. If God's called you in a situation and you don't understand why, maybe what we need to do is start letting him show us why.
Yeah.
Because what happened was the first time we all got together, right? And I first start meeting them and I'm like, tried to put on the, oh man, I don't know how did I get here face. That night, a conversation started, and I was like, oh, I can get in on this. And then I was holding my own, and then we got deeper and deeper and deeper. And actually, that conversation went well into the night.
Sure.
And even involved a Perkins run.
All right.
Yeah, which was score. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why. Because, like, I'm on their level. I might not be doing what they're doing, but, oh, God, you're showing me that these are my people. That I'm one of these guys, and they get it like I get it, and I can hold my own with these guys in this way. And oh man, and the whole outlook of my entire time in that master's program changed because I went from thinking why am I even here to oh this is why I'm
this is why I'm here.
Oh, because these are the kind of people that I'm going to glean off of and sharpen off of, and all those. Okay.
Yep.
The next step of that, though, the challenge from that point is realizing that, oh, no, none of that matters. God's on my level because he came down to my level. And that's why it doesn't matter what he's put in front of me. Like, I'm okay. I'm here for a reason.
Yeah,
right?
That's it.
I am here for a reason, whether that is to learn or to contribute or to both. And most of the time, you're going to find out it's both. Like, there is a give and take to every relationship that you have. There has to be.
Yep.
There has to be a give and take, or else there's not a relationship.
Yep.
Right?
Well, that's typically, it's like the number one reason for divorce is because somebody got lazy. It's like somebody stopped caring about the other person. Right. Nobody wants to put in the work, and it gets impossible.
Interestingly, how choices are involved with that. I actually just brought that up in the sermon I did 2 Sundays ago, where it's like there's a choice. And when you choose to love someone, it's amazing what you're willing to overlook or work through or work with. But if you choose the opposite,
Yeah.
And when you choose to hate someone, when you choose against someone, it's amazing how quickly you can destroy a relationship.
Oh, 100%.
Where it's like, well, I'm not going to be telling her that, and I'm not going to. Wow, watch how fast it implodes.
Yep.
The choices that we make have such real consequences, but to choose to see why God put you in, like, look, let's find out. God, show me why I'm here. I don't understand it, but you say it, so I'm okay with it, and so you show me why I'm here, and then to be able to discover that, and it's amazing because you're right. Not only was I able to glean from them, but I found myself helping them, and I was not even. I never thought that was going to be possible till I found myself in the situation and let God show me why I was there. And it's as scary as it can be. Sometimes that's how we know it is from Him. Because left to our own devices, we're going to oftentimes do what's comfortable. We're going to do what's
100%.
easy. And when we can feel that it's something that's kind of scary because it's new, because we've never done it before, but we feel that push, that pull, that prod, maybe that's how we know that it is from God, because that's when sometimes the best things can happen.
Here's another little nugget too, is like, if you think that you're not good enough, if you're feeling that way, guess what? You're right. You're not.
Yep.
But guess what? You were chosen.
Oh, it's like that.
You were chosen, right?
Who was it that said that? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
I don't remember who said it.
Oh,
but
I'm not
I've heard a
talking
lot.
that. I'm saying you're not good enough. Even if you
Right.
think you are. I think you're not.
Henry Ford.
Because God said you're
Was it
not,
Henry
right?
Ford?
But He chose you anyways.
Was it Henry Ford? No. Who was it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but it's good.
But
Bro, I don't do history.
In this meeting that I wound up stumbling into yesterday, the guy, one of the things he was talking about was like your identity, and it's like he was specifically talking about money habits and
Yes.
things, but you're talking about your identity, and you say, you know what, I don't feel like I'm smart enough to be this person, and his question was, who told you that? It's like, you listened to,
Oh, dude.
right?
Dude.
You listened to someone at some point, and they said somehow, whether it was actions or straight up, you're not good enough to do this. Who told you that?
Started in Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Who told you were naked?
Right?
Who told you you were naked? Mm-hmm. Who told you that food was good enough?
He had to know.
I had to know it was Henry Ford.
But going back to what you were saying earlier, it's like literally the devil's only tactic is asking the question, right?
Yeah.
They said
Making us doubt it.
Right. The first question asked in the garden was, is that really what he said?
Is that
Did
really what he
God
said?
really say?
Did God really say you
And then
couldn't
God's
eat from...
comeback was,
Yeah.
who told you that?
Right.
Who told you were naked?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who?
The female. No, I'm just kidding.
No. But watch Adam
just lost
quickly
half of
blame
us.
everything else was hilarious.
Yeah, right.
No, it's totally Adam's fault. The whole thing was Adam's fault because he didn't lead his family, and that's why, guys,
He was
it's
with
so
her.
important.
He
It's
wasn't
so-
separate.
Even if he was separate, right? Even if he was, he did not lead his family, and that was the first.
Absolutely. But the thing is that that was something that was a shock to go back and read later on in life and it was before seminary or any of that. But like, just to be like, yeah, Adam, she gave it to Adam, who was with her. It's like, you were there the whole time, bro.
Right.
The whole time.
That's
right?
why.
He's
That's
just
why
like-
through one man.
Listen, he was
right?
mesmerized at her appearance.
That's why through one man sin entered the world.
Wait,
right?
there were
That's
apples?
the man. There were apples.
But I mean, like, think about, like, we talked to our associate pastor earlier about this today. Is you've got a situation like, can you imagine if this had happened and the very first thing Adam did was to turn on, just stop, drop to his knees, and say, "God, I screwed up. Please help me with this." Like, I guarantee the entire story would have played out completely different. But it's nope. I'm terrified. I'm going to hide this. I don't want to admit that I did it. And it's like,
It only took one sin to separate.
Yeah,
So
but that's
I don't know if I agree with that. But
it could have been
had
different.
he said, "I told you couldn't have that" to Eve, then we'd have a completely different, scenario.
Well, I'll tell you
there.
what, it's interesting that, Adam was supposed to put the law down there.
Yeah.
But that was the problem with his son. Mm-hmm. His first son became prideful because of that.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Cain was born with so much pride that God gave him continuous outs. If you read through it, and every time that he asked a question or tried to confront him, instead of admitting or anything, he would just double down and he would just get more hard-hearted and he would get more, almost, screw you, God. I'm like, no, this is how it's going to be. And, if he, think about the difference it could have made in Cain's life. If he would have just been like, you know what, I messed up. Even with the first thing, it's like, why is your heart so hard? Why are you so mad at your brother? If you'd have been like, I don't know, man, can you help me with this? That would have been, no.
Boom.
He stayed so, nope.
Yep.
And it's wild to see that full-on prideful arrogance on display and what it leads to. I mean, within the first children, the first two sons, you have this on full display. You have one who's humble and one who's prideful.
Yep.
And it's like, wow.
And it's character, right? And that's literally it. It's the person who's willing to say, before anybody even brought it up, I made a mistake and I want you to help me figure out how to make it better. And then I think the other side, like going back to obviously feeling less than, I bragged on my son. We went to see the Wicked for Good, right? And in there, Glinda sings a song where she basically says, true happiness comes when all your dreams come true. And he literally snickered and said, no, Dad, it happens when you're content with where you are. And I was like, holy crap, right? I was like, I didn't teach him that. That just somehow came out of him. But he was...
Little high five.
Yeah, right. It's like, I just nudged him and said, good for you. Then I was thinking about somebody was telling the story about, Jesus feeding the 5,000 with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and that kind of stuff. And the very first thing he did once he entered it was he gave thanks for the food, right? And so just giving us the picture that gratitude, immediate gratitude for everything that you've got can completely change your circumstance. I was talking to one of the guys after the meeting yesterday, and he was saying he recently visited Haiti, and he said he went down the street, and it literally is 4x4 posts and tarps, and that's people's homes, right? Just 4x4 posts and tarps. And he said he's never met people who are so grateful to be in an enclosed space. I was like, and we're making $150,000 a year and complaining we don't have enough. It's like, so it's wild. So I think that's more just, I think for a lot of us, especially me, when you come into a situation like, I don't really know what I have to bring to the table. God obviously put me here for a reason. And what I've come to realize recently is that there's so many people that are just pumping their brains with information that they're blocking, because God tends to work from the inside out, right? He talks to, there's a scripture about polishing the inside of I forget what it is.
The cup?
Yeah, inside the cup.
Cleaning the inside of the cup.
Cleaning the inside, and then eventually the outside gets cleaned, right? He works from the inside out. So he works on your character and gets your character to the point there. When he gives you the knowledge, you can handle it, you can understand it. And so many people are trying to get all this information with having zero character inside. There's no heart work done yet. So it's people who are like, I don't have, personally, I don't have a lot of head knowledge, but, and I'm, again, not bragging on myself, I am the guy who's going to immediately take responsibility for anything I did wrong because I want to be better, right? Tomorrow, I want to be better than I was today.
Right.
If I'm helping with the Elevate Networks, I want that business to be better tomorrow than it was today. That's my whole goal, right? So what I bring to the table is I like to teach people character, right? And if I like to say that I'm an image of God's character, and if that's what I bring to the table, then that's enough.
Well, and I think that it's important for us to always remember, and I know podcasts have come back to this a lot, but I'll throw this out there. I heard a lady who was speaking once talk on identity as a Christian, and one of the things that we get caught up in, and this doesn't, you don't have to take this as like political or social or whatever. You don't have to take it as that, but hear what it says, and a lot of us get caught up in the what's before and not the what should be. And what she said was, I am not a black Christian woman. I am a Christian who happens to be black and a woman. And I think that's very important for us to realize, is that our identity has to be in Christ alone. The other things are descriptors. Intelligence, descriptor.
Yep.
Presence, descriptor. Skin color, outgoingness, your introvert, extrovert. All of those things are descriptors.
Yep.
As a Christian, our identity is in Christ. Everything else describes what he has us designed as, right? So whatever that looks like for you, for me, I'm constantly feeling like I'm not good enough to do this business that he's thrown me into.
Yep.
Constantly. However, I'm a Christian, and I know that he has thrown me into this. It was his plan, not mine. And it was so very clear from the get-go. And so I rely on him to get me through to the next step. And it's like every time I have an issue, even though I feel down, I'm not saying that I don't feel down anymore. I'm saying every time that I have something that comes up, something pops up, whether it's a podcast on, taking the complex problems and going, here's the simple part of it. You break it down and there's a bunch of simple problems.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start solving the simple problems, eventually the complex problem goes away because it's fixed. And so from that podcast allowed me to get to where I'm at, started this week, right, in this whole new mindset that I've got for it. Whether it's, I feel like this project I'm working on looks like garbage, and the people that it's for are in love with it. And then I get a text message from Work in Progress saying, you need to see you like we see you. Like it's every step of the way God has placed somebody there to be like, keep going.
Yep.
And so I attribute that to being like, okay, Christ is the center of this. Do I do it perfect? No, absolutely not. I don't do the Christ thing perfect, a Christian thing perfect. But my identity is Christ gave me this. This is where he wants me. I know that for sure. So I have to keep stepping into that. Everything else around it will fall into place whenever it's his time for it to fall into place.
Yep.
So all of that to say, remember that if you are a follower of Christ, your identity is having been adopted, made a son or daughter of Christ, of God, and you are a Christian, a little anointed one, okay? And so rely on that. Stand on that, because that truth breaks all of the lies. It breaks everything else out, because whenever it comes down to it, start from there. It doesn't matter if you're brand new, don't know anything except for that Jesus loves you and he died for you and that you're a sinner.
Yep.
You can take that knowledge and take it to someone else, and they can have the realization that they're a sinner who needs Jesus and that he loves them. Right? Like, and that's the biggest point.
Yep.
That's the biggest point in all of Scripture. So it doesn't matter how new, how dumb you think you are, how smart you think you are, how whatever. All those other things are descriptors. Rely on the fact that your identity lies in Christ alone.
Very true. Yeah, the church we used to go to up in Minnesota was founded by a evangelist named Lowell Lundstrom, and he was famous for this saying that as soon as he got saved, he jumped to his feet and he said, "Wait till everybody hears about this." It's like, and he said from the day, it was just he was so excited to share God with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. Back earlier in the podcast, you made a statement where you said we have to be on all the time. It's like, and I think there's a lot of people in ministry who are like, oh man, I would just wish I could be off. But I think the biggest compliment I ever got was one day we were doing something funny at church, and somebody said, "Dave, you literally don't know how to be anybody but Dave. Like there is no other version of you." Right?
Well, I think there's so I want to clarify. So
don't get too deep into those woods, because I want this to be a podcast episode.
Okay.
Seriously,
we
because
will tease it.
I think that is a big topic, and I think that it can
next time on the Truth Response.
I think it can bridge the gap for new and long-time Christians.
Well, so what I mean by being on for pastors is not necessarily that we become a different person. I think that's actually problematic. If you become a completely different person in order to be a pastor, like when you come to work, you're a whole different person. Like that's wrong. Like, and there was a guy that's here. I think it was Matt, the worship guy. Yeah. So Matt.
It's a weird last name.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, our worship pastor, Matt Stout, he was talking about one day, he's like, I really can't stand when a preacher is completely different when they preach than who they are as a person. And he told us, he really appreciated the way that Nick and myself had preached here, because you can see our personalities and who we really are. And who we are on stage isn't necessarily anything different than you're going to see if you talk to us in the hallways, especially if you get us excited about something.
Sure.
That's the
or even in
stage.
your own homes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is that on just means that we're constantly like, you're
in the spotlight.
We realize that we can be looked at any moment and so you're just kind of waiting. You know, you got to keep it up here. You're on. You're working.
Yeah.
You're you know what I mean? Like, if you're at the grocery store, you're on. You're working. Like, anywhere you're in public, because you're representing Christ everywhere you go. And if people get, it's known that you're the pastor of a church, you want to make sure you're representing God well, church well, the people of your congregation well. You know, it's a lot that we put on our own shoulders, not to mention the stuff that people put on us. That's what I mean. So it can be a lot. Now, that's not to say if you when people aren't looking, don't look anything like a pastor ever. There's a big problem there, and that would be a whole different story.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys feel like you're on all the time as far as it goes with church, leave a comment, let us know, and maybe that'll become a podcast topic, because I think it transcends pastorness. I think it's even beyond that. I think that you don't necessarily have to be a pastor in order to feel that the same way that a pastor does at times.
No, I think parents could feel it easily. Think
sure,
about
sure.
like what it is, especially when you any
And
parent,
I don't just mean on, but I mean specifically with your
well, I'll give
with
you an
your
example.
beliefs
So like if you and your
morality.
wife have a kid and you put the kid to bed, and then you feel like you can finally relax and just be you and the spouse, and then you find yourself, that's your on time. From the time that they wake up to the time that they go to sleep, you're on as mom or dad, right?
Yep.
Well, then that transcends to and that's getting too deep in the woods, but that then you're on as husband and wife.
Absolutely.
You know, and so there's a lot to
There's
that.
a lot of ons.
So if you feel like you're stuck in on, right? If you're stuck on, if you're stuck in on, then comment something. Let us know that that's something that you guys are feeling too and would like to hear about. So yeah,
I think that's probably the number one contributor to burnout is
Yeah.
I feel like I have to be on, and if I'm being on, that means
Actually, maybe that's what we should call it. We should be like turning it off. Yeah.
or finding the dimmer.
Well, dimmer is interesting.
I don't think you should be
There's
off.
so much. Well, no. No, that's not what
we don't want to be. Yeah.
Well, no, but
we don't want to be
have-
lukewarm.
I think there's
you
some
need
depth to it.
time off though, like to be like you said, burnout, being on all the time. Where you're like, I just need relax. Yeah, that's where vacations come in. That's where your time off.
That's why Sabbath is important. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's land the plane.
All right.
Any
We're
last
gonna
words?
Get into a whole another episode.
Any last words? If you are finding yourself in a position where you're like, I'm not qualified for this, but like you said, God has definitely put this on your heart. This is what you're doing. You're in it for a reason, and we've got your back.
Yeah.
All right. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. No, if you actually did that with me though, and you're watching or listening to this,
Bravo.
thank you.
Yes.
My last words. Yeah. If you're feeling like you're not sure why you're getting called into something, find out.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to let God show
Yeah,
you.
trust the covering that you're under. That's the other thing
Yeah,
too. Is so many
he's the
people are
guy.
like, I'm in this church, but I don't really support what the pastor's doing, and I don't really trust him. Well, you may want to find another church then.
Yeah.
You should be able to go to the pastor or your leader and say, hey, this is what I feel like. Please help me understand, because it could be something he's calling you to, but you're not ready yet. It could be something he's calling you to, and you almost missed it. It's like, or something you called to,
Yeah.
but not not here.
Or
Or
the pastor's wrong too, because
Ooh.
pastors can be wrong.
sometimes, yeah.
So clarity.
Yeah.
Seeking clarity in love. Yeah, just remember your identity is in Christ first.
Yep.
That's
He's
it.
got you covered.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how low you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Your identity is in Christ. And that is a new creation. Not as Jelly Roll said the other day on Joe Rogan, right? It's not that he's redeeming the old, though he is. It says that I'm a new creation. I am something completely different, yo.
Yep.
I am something completely different. There's a brand new heart within me. It's completely washed clean. So all of the mistakes, all of the shortcomings, all of the downfalls, that's the meat suit. That's the flesh,
But it's
right?
also
Seriously, that's the
got
meat
you.
suit. So you are that new creation that he created, white as snow, brand new.
Yep.
Go to that first.
Yep.
So
I love it.
we have 7 more to go. 7 more subscribers on YouTube to go
So we'll
Let's
go live.
do it.
till 250 and till till to before the 250 mark. You know what I mean? Till 100.
He was messing
Whatever.
with me right there.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's okay.
So here's the deal. We'll have it next week, set in stone, the date for 250.
Sweet.
It's going to be in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mid-April sometime.
Everything goes well.
If everything goes right, mid-April.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a live show.
Sweet. It's gonna be.
There's
we're
going to be a
working on
party.
Surprises.
That means we want you guys here
Ooh.
in the building,
Ooh.
live,
For those who can make it. of
for
course.
those who can make it. If you can't make it, it's a free event. So paying for travel, I mean, I understand, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's enough houses you could stay in that we can.
Oh my goodness.
I know that's weird, but
Break out some cots in the lit sanctuary.
plus you can call it a vacation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
There you
Because
go.
it's Florida.
Sure.
It's going to be on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. We'll make sure that it's late enough that it's, you could fly in, and
Oh, we're
only
flying
take a day
now.
off.
Fly-
Well, I
we're
mean-
flying in the audience now.
I'm
Right, I think-
assuming that my mom is going to want to be here.
Right.
My
So-
mom would probably love to be here.
Our Ukrainian and Ethiopian listeners would probably want to be part of it.
We
Yeah.
have German listeners.
Nice.
So we do
Awesome.
have from Germany. I don't know them, but I know
Right.
that we have some from Germany. Anyways, so that date will be released next episode.
Cool.
We will have it set in stone, and we will tell you nothing extra about it because it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll get to hang out. You'll get to see some people who have been on in the past. You'll find out all this new cool stuff for this next year and moving forward. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening, making all of this possible.
Yeah.
And God bless.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe and give us a like on iTunes and Spotify so that you will never miss a show. And while you're at it, check out our Facebook and Instagram pages and make sure you tell your friends about this show. You don't want them to miss out on the truth because we are all about the truth here. Thanks for joining us this week, and God bless.